brings me to the period of time of the war, and you had mentioned to me earlier about a training that took place here by the British forces, Air Force.
Yeah. Yes, there was British instructors came over to train Canadian pilots for combat. And so they'd go up here and do their thing.
On the ranch?
Oh, you know.
Oh, yes, but they were landing in your hayfield, weren't they? No?
Yes, they were.
Yes.
Yeah, that was taboo, but you know, why not? The way I look at it was, these guys, they expect them to go into combat and fight. So if they're a bit daredevil, so what? That was my opinion, but it wasn't. Oh, there was, actually was a friend of the family, a neighbor down here. He got himself into the Air Force as a commissioned officer. And one of them was having a bit of fun up here, you see. And damned if he didn't manage to, they didn't quite high enough, he got their number and turned them in. And this young fellow was to face court-martial. He was the best pilot in the Canadian Air Force. And this jerk was going to shoot down his career, you see. So anyway, we had seen his performance. He admitted he was stunting, but he didn't. He said he was above 2,000 feet. So things looked absolutely hopeless for him till the Air Force came in here in a station wagon. An officer got out and took Mother to the court case. And she stood up in court for it. And anyway, she knew the elevation we were standing. She knew the elevation of the hills. She knew he had to be above 2,000 feet. And she proved that we couldn't have seen him if he was less than 2,000 feet. She proved that in court. Well, she was so proud of that, she bragged about that for years.
Well, anyway, she sounds very astute.
Anyhow, we got quite tired of hearing people being told about that.
Well, during the Depression, I suppose it was maybe, did your father and mother decide that maybe they should take in dudes here as well, turn it into a
well,
bit
yes, they had to eat, you know.
Yes, exactly.
And so that they took in paying guests. And,
did you start out with the girls, or who came here?
Sometimes it was couples, sometimes even families, sometimes it was individuals, you know. And
were you taking them out too on little trips?
I was taking them riding at a very early age.
I can imagine.
Well, I rode this country since I was 5 years old, and I knew the country. And so I'd take them on various circles around. And oftentimes, when there was no guests there, if I had a friend, I would investigate trails, you see, to see where I could make a circle and get back and have a nice ride for people for, say, 2 hours or 2.5 hours. And so, and Mother, if I wasn't here at 12 o'clock, there was blood on the moon. And she said she wondered afterwards, how come every noon at 12 o'clock I was riding up the lane here to the barn. She didn't know how he did, had no watch.
Well, you were also developing some friendships with people like Tilda, I guess, and
well, Tilda and Agnes. That was before Tilda was married, you see.
Yes.
She was Tilda Hammond.
Yes.
And they lived down, you know, where the Hammond place was.
Absolutely.
And every once in a while, they'd ride up with their, they took in girls at...
they're the ones that took in girls.
Yeah, the girls for guests. They were paying guests. And so anyway, we'd see... Agnes rode a roan horse, and we'd see this horse coming on the gallop. Agnes would come galloping in, ask Mother if she could feed them. Okay. I don't know how Mother did it, but she always had dinner ready for them.
Oh, that was great.
And she got paid, of course, for that. And so they all rode in, and Tilda would come with her. I absolutely adored Tilda. To me, she was a queen. She was, almost out of reach. She was so wonderful.
We miss her, don't we?
Yeah, and so anyway, and I would go out, and one of the horses was called Chaw, and he was very quiet. She'd throw me up on his back, and I could ride him up to the creek while she led the others for a drink of water.
Oh.
Well, and then next time we heard, somebody came and said, "Oh, Tilda has gone. She's sailing to India to get married." And I was devastated.
Oh.
I'll never see her again. Oh, golly.
We had a lot in common.
And so
She was a good friend.
eventually she ends up back here. And as soon as I knew she was here, I said to Richard, "We're going to visit Tilda and you."
It worked out beautifully.
And so I couldn't wait to see them. And then they would come up here and go riding with me. I'd take them in the various circles around here.